All right, so I'll tell you a little bit about OTAN. I think most of you already know about our work. We are a state leadership project here in California. We are the Outreach and Technical Assistance Network, also known as OTAN. We are one of 3 state leadership projects for the state of California, focusing mostly on ed tech and training for teachers throughout our state, along with training them around blended and distance learning. And that's a lot of our work and our collaboration with the IDEAL Consortium and our friends at World Education. We do a variety of different things from face-to-face training, online training, resources and tools on our OTAN website that are free for all of our educators in the state and out of the state. Anybody on the OTAN website can find resources that they can take and use in their classrooms, along with regular teacher digests and administrator digests, news articles, a tech and distance learning symposium, and other adult ed resources. One half of the house does the training, the other half of the house does the development. So all of our websites are completed in-house, and we do a lot of the development for our California Department of Education. So I'll tell you a little bit about kind of who we are and who our students are. I mean, we are really serving all of our teachers in community college districts, local education agencies, LEAs, libraries, community-based organizations, migrant ed, nonprofits. We are managed through the California Department of Education. We have state and federal funding, and as high as it was a few years ago with our enrollments being 800,000 students and going as low as 300 after the pandemic or during the pandemic, as all of us have experienced. We have over 400 agencies that are funded throughout our state, from state funding to federal funding, and some are a mix of both. Many of them are small, medium, and large. You know that we are in a big state, and many of those small, medium agencies are in rural parts of California. And each one has a varying budget and funding sources coming through them. So it was really important for us to really focus in our energy around open ed. And we owe it to my colleague and friend, Penny Pearson, who is a OER advocate and has been teaching us for many years on open education resources. Rachel gave you a little bit of a kind of rundown of my experience. I've worked in support positions, I've worked in the classroom, and I've worked as an administrator in a variety of different positions. And once I left the school site, I was able to join the wonderful world of OTAN and continue our work on a state level to provide resources for our teachers, our educators. One of the things that we do, we have a big contract. One of those pieces are ensuring that we provide free resources for our teachers as well, and introducing them not only to what they can pay for and get and support learners, but also what they can get for free and ensure quality at the same time. So we are present, and well, California is an open state, or a Go Open state, right? And we hosted many times a Go Open Summit in San Diego, California, through their district. And so we were attendees, just like everybody else, learning more about how we can support the Go Open movement. And that's when I got introduced to Carl Haley at CK-12. At the time, he was with CK-12. He's no longer there. I was very lucky enough to attend one of his presentations where he introduced CK-12 to us. And I just, after that presentation and really understanding, what they offer, I went back to my colleagues and said, hey, what are we doing to expand services using CK-12? One of the things that I thought as an administrator in rural California, one of our stories was we got all the leftover textbooks from the high school next door to help guide our students in the diploma and equivalency programs. And these were old textbooks that needed to be refreshed. And now we're testing our students, our equivalency students, on specific topics that our textbooks aren't necessarily serving. And our budget was low, and there wasn't a lot of investment around textbooks and books to help support our learners. And when I learned about CK-12, I immediately thought, oh my God, this is relevant information, free at my fingertips. Let me send it to all of my previous teachers to ensure that they get on there and offer and are able to start their classes using CK-12. But a lot of the feedback that I got was, well, it's not relevant for adult education. CK-12 is very much K-12. How do we align it to adult ed? And, it was a little bit of pushback then, but the value of having access to these free resources was incredibly important, especially along the lines of equivalency. When it comes to high school equivalency, there are many resources out there that maybe can assist our students in English, language arts, and or math, but some of the science, social studies pieces were really missing for us at that time. So I was thinking, how do we get additional resources to help support those learners? And then soon got involved with CK-12, got to learn a little bit about their resources, and became a certified educator. All right, so as the years went by, I did make that connection with their representative from CK-12, and I was able to touch base with them and talk a little bit about, what does it mean for adult education to be on the CK-12 platform? Well, I mean, a lot of the responses were, you can create a textbook if you want. You can modify it and use it however you need to. You can use it with any learner you possibly, you can use it with any learner. And as our conversation started growing, we started thinking, well, yes, but when our adult educator lands on your website, do they feel this immediate, oh yes, my adult learners are going to be able to use these resources? And so it's that first kind of landing page that really kind of either welcomes or deters people. So we were able to continue the conversation. I was able to meet the CEO and the president of CK-12 Niru and have some really great conversations around how they can help us in adult education. So we talked a little bit about, adult ed as a nation, what does that mean beyond California? So we shared resources, and she looked at statistics and numbers and how many learners we have all around our nation. And I was happy to get connected with Lindsay Kincaid, who is one of their employees at CK-12 at the time. She's no longer with them as well, and launch the CK-12/adult education website. We actually went live in 2021. And so I'm really just I admired the work and the commitment and the investment that CK-12 was willing to do for adult education. And this is beyond OTAN. This is open to everybody. Again, CK-12 is a free site for anyone to use. And now adult education has a home on CK-12. So I think there's the value. But we knew that this was going to be a big haul as far as, how do we, well, one, okay, we're going to have this adult education piece or site or page on the CK-12 website, but beyond that, what should we do to show teachers that they can find the information that we need? So that was back on OTAN's lap. So we took a chance, and we hired a subject matter expert, and boy, did she blow us away with her work. I mean, she's developed all the books on the CK-12 adult education website, which I'm going to take you to in just a bit. And she spent some significant time building, not only taking community contributed books, so people have already created these books, they were somewhere in the CK-12 realm, bringing them over. That's the beauty of, shared textbooks and free, right? We can work together, we can collaborate. And so we were able to find books, modify them, ensure that they're, meet the standards of our learners, and then, make new books using the CK-12 content to address our learner need. Deborah Jensen is our subject matter expert that was in charge of this effort, and we're very grateful to her. We've expanded that network of subject matter experts that work on the CK-12 to ensure that we have textbooks there available for all of our teachers and our learners. There were heavy investments with graphic design. As you can see, it's going to be a beautiful site, and I'll show you in just a minute on the OTAN and the CK-12 side to show that we have collaborated to offer this for everyone. And really, it took a lot of motivated teachers to make this effort happen. Fantastic. Okay. All right. So I promised that we would go live. And so let's go ahead and do that. One of the things I, would like you to just practice is this CK12.org. And I need to type correctly. .org, and you go to their main page here, and immediately it'll change to /student, and you'll go to the CK-12 homepage, where they're going to show you that they're, science, math, social studies, and so on. And you can see all the resources on their page. If you go over to subjects and you click on subjects, it'll take you to a drill down menu where you can kind of see that you can translate material. You can look at specific grade levels. But here's adult education right in the center here. We love to see that, where it breaks down by specific program areas for us. And so I'm going to go ahead and click on basic ed, which will take me to the main page. And you can kind of start seeing here what we have to offer. I'll show you that, you know, this adult ed logo here is not, OTAN just worked in collaboration with CK-12 because they gave us the opportunity for the page, but this is a CK-12 website. And again, I just want to keep saying that this is the work of and the commitment and investment from CK-12 that we're very, very grateful for. So they managed to work with us. We were able to create a great story and video where we hear from educators and students in California on how they were able to, you know, earn their diploma using CK-12. So if you have a moment, definitely look at this video. It talks, there's a message in there from our state administrator, from teachers that are using CK-12 along with students that have graduated and were using CK-12 as their, using it as their textbooks or their FlexBooks. So we wanted to keep it really clear and basic. So we kind of broke it up by program area. So really addressing the need of students in adult education. So we broke it up by foundational math, math for basic ed, pre-algebra, and just kind of the basic sciences. And so, you know, a teacher, if you know you have students that need additional help to get them out of the ABE program area, these books can help support your ABE student. We also broke it up by high school diploma and high school equivalency. So through, so under ASE, Adult Secondary Education, we wanted to kind of bring in some books that really, you know, what do we struggle with getting textbooks? So yeah, we know that we need an econ for a lot of those high school diploma students that are not finished yet, some bio, the US government, right? Remember those senior classes that we know that a lot of our students come in and need credits for. And so that's kind of what our focus was. And we're still building this list. And we welcome anybody that wants to join us in our efforts. So you can see that there are many textbooks here that address our high school diploma students' needs. And so let me just go into econ, for example. This is the FlexBooks, the FlexBook for econ or economics for our high school diploma learners. And I have the opportunity to assign this book to my learners, add it to my library. Here's the key here, customize. So maybe you see this book and you're like, oh, I really like unit 1, 2, and 3, but I really don't need 4 or 5. That's fine. You can customize it, bring it into your account and customize it. You can add to the FlexBook, you can share it for your class, or you can even download it as a PDF. Remember, anything on CK-12 can be moved over to Google Classroom and Canvas, the learning management system Canvas as well. So you can see here, there's a couple of units for econ, and you can kind of see what's in each unit as well. All right, let me go back. I talked a little bit about my equivalency students, how we were struggling really when it came to social studies and science. So here we are with high school equivalency, ASE. You have some science books, some math books, right? Data and statistics, geometry, algebra, and so on. So here are some additional resources that can help your learners in science. And I'm just going to click on that book so you can kind of see where that takes you. Same kind of deal here, right? You can add, assign, and do what you need to do. It even tells you here about some of the authors. Shayna Friend, Jessica Hartwood, Douglas Wilkin, so many others that are authors through this, and there are 4 more, and I bet you Debbie Jensen is one of them. And you can see the standards alignment as well. Here's the science book, walks you through science practices, life science, physical science. And here's what we did late 2022 that I'm really excited about. Like I told you, we expanded our our group of subject matter experts. So we had Debbie, who was an ABE ASC professional and was able to kind of pull this all together for us. And that was housed on the website for many years. And then we said, hey, we need to expand this, because we had our CTE teachers and our ESL teachers say, wait, I want to use CK-12. I can't find any material for ESL. And so we thought, just like we did, we can't just create this site and not have any resources. So we need to show them what they can do with it. So we had Susan Gear and many others, professionals in our state, subject matter experts, start the work with CTE. And so we have some career and technical education topics, anatomy, health science, cosmetology. And then for ESL, let me highlight this employment safety for ESL students. So you can kind of see what this book has that you can kind of transfer and use with your students. You can see the author is Susan Gear. We were able to pull it into the adult education platform or site. And then you have some tips and course through safety signs, protection equipment, and so on. So as you can see, there was a huge investment made into this site, and it is available at your fingertips. We hope that you can utilize some of the resources on this site. It really kind of addresses OTAN's commitment to open educational resources. There's just so much to share with you on CK-12, especially when it comes to, not only is it a textbook, but it can do so much. There are simulations, adaptive practices, other study guides and plics that your learners would be able to use and keep it interactive. So beyond just the FlexBook, the text that they're going to be reading, there are actual interactive pieces that you can incorporate into your lessons. Become a certified educator with CK-12, because it does walk you through how to use it and how you can use it with your students. So join us on the certified educator list. Here it is. Like I said, it does integrate with Classroom, Canvas, and Schoology, if that's something that you're using. You can also even see that we showed how it can align to the math and college and career readiness standards. So you have the ability to learn more. Here's some testimonials from us. So much on the CK-12 adult education website.